brighter than the sun, looking every way. On a mission, if God tell me hit the place, my soul going crazy till it break, or he tell me stay. I'm in the sun, waiting patient. Listen to the Father, taking heed to the ancients. The price up on their head like they did in our statement. We gon' bring this kingdom down, you can call it down payment. Punishment coming in a lump sum. They getting fired from the pit, yeah, they done. I wanna be there when they try to fight us punch drunk. Then watch them all turn to smoke when the sun come. The word fire in his people would to try to beat us or defeat us, yeah, you wish you could. I can't wait until the day they off the surf for good. The book's open. And then the angels, we the angels. Fire with no wind, when we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels. Fire with no wind, when we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels.
I come from a long line of angels. Four mothers is Sarah, Leah, Rebecca, and Rachel. Morning sun on my skin and most hobby who I pray to. Marathon drip, ain't nobody about to race, boo. Make sure you put some proper respect on my daddy name. It's royalty that's flowing through my veins. See, I'm a wife to a king. It's a flex, it's a thing. Left his father and his mother, and to me is who he cling. I go out of my way to make sure he got what he need. I birthing babies further our nation and races see. We one with the speech, one with the moves, one with the body, one with the bruise. Payback gon' get gritty. I be sitting pretty while it's popping off. We gon' sing this little ditty. Red rum, angels hunting them down. Red rum, angels taking the crown.
We the angels, fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels. Fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We make the same moves, cause we the angels.
You can't tell where I was or where I went, or where I went in the chariot with a cherubim.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Hey, this is Officer Yawanathan with IUIC Memphis. And we got another edition of In the Classroom. And my reader today I have on deck is...
Also, your Shaw REA, man.
Yeah, I got Officer Shaw, man, one of the mightiest swordsmen out here, you know. So today, what we're going to do today is we're going to go into a class. It's called the Virtue of Temperance. All right, so the Virtue of Temperance. First, what I want to do is I want to go into a couple of scriptures before I get into that. Let me get Amos chapter 3, 1 and 2. Just a couple of scriptures before I get started on this class.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
It says, hear the word that the Most High has spoken to you, the children of Israel. That's you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Yes, we're talking to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You are the Israelites. You make up the 12 tribes of Israel. This is the Most High speaking to you. Read.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known.
He said what?
You only have I known.
The Most High is only dealing with you, the 12 tribes, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
Of all the families of the earth.
At all the families of the earth, you have 18 different nations, 18 different families of the earth. But out of those, well, it's actually 17 minus Israel. But out of those nations, Most High chose you to be dealing with. Read.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Right, because we broke God's commandment. Reason why we in over here and serving out our punishment over here in the Americas and scattered out throughout the world. From there, go to Joel 2, 27. Joel 2 and 27.
The book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel.
In the midst of who?
In the midst of Israel.
So the Most High says he's in the midst of Israel. He didn't say no other nation, none of those other families of the earth. He says I'm in the midst of who?
Israel.
And
and that I am the Lord your God.
Who's God?
I am the Lord your God.
He said, I'm your God. Right? So he's not talking about the other nations. See, we've been taught throughout slavery that the Most High God is everybody's God. But the scriptures say that what again? Read that.
I am the Lord your God,
Uh-huh.
and none else.
And what?
And none else.
So look, the Most High God, he's the only God. He's the God, only God of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
And my people shall never be ashamed.
All right, now go over there to Psalms 78. Give me Psalm 78, verse 5.
The book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel.
So the laws that you read, the first 5 books of Moses, they was established for Jacob, or Israel. Read.
Which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
Right, that we supposed to teach the children these laws. Read.
That the generation to come might know them.
Right.
Even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in God,
Right.
and not forget the works of God,
Right.
but keep his commandments.
To do what?
But keep his commandments.
Right. This is the reason why he's telling us. Keep reading.
And might not be as their fathers.
Right. So we won't be like our fathers, because our fathers, they erred. Right. That's the reason why we in this situation we in now, because they erred. So now our job here is to undo that. We trying to get back right with the Most High God. Read.
A stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with God.
Right. So that's that on that. So now we want to get into the topic, which is temperance. Now, can y'all bring up that link real quick? Can I see it? Yeah. Okay. You see? Can you read that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Temperance from the Webster 1828 dictionary. Moderation, particularly habitual moderation in regards to indulgence of the natural appetites and passions. Restrained or moderate indulgence. As temperance in eating and drinking. Temperance in the indulgence of joy or mirth. Temperance in eating and drinking is opposed to gluttony and drunkenness. And in other indulgence to excess.
Right. Now read 2.
2. Patience, calmness, sedateness, moderation of passion.
Now this is the definition. Now we're gonna go to let's go to Galatians 5. I'm gonna go to Galatians 5 because what our people don't have is temperance. And you see all over the world that we don't possess those qualities of moderation. Where my paperwork at? We don't have those qualifications of moderation, because it says that with moderation you're gonna have some type of self-control, right? You're gonna watch how you indulge in things. You're not gonna overindulge in things. You're gonna have self-control. You're gonna have and restraint. Now read that, because in the Galatians 5, we're gonna read about how to move and how the fruits of the Spirit is, and what that brings out. All right, what that's gonna bring out of you when you moving in that Spirit. Read.
The book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 22. But the fruits of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance.
Is it what?
Temperance.
These are all these attributes of fruits of the Spirit our people do not have. You know, you see our people, they not long suffering with each other. You know, first thing you hear on the news every day is what? We getting shot down in the streets all day long. Our young kids they shooting at each other. Even in a simple commute back and forth to school or something, you might cut somebody off or something like that, and then what happens? They hop out and start shooting. And that's what happens there in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? They have no self-control. no long suffering. You know, we keep reading.
Against such there is no law.
Right, because when you holding yourself according to these attributes, you ain't breaking no law. You know what I'm saying? You loving your brothers, you love yourself as you love thyself when you achieving these attributes. Now let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. Because with self-control, there are certain attributes that you have to have, and then you have to be able to discern when to use it, how much to apply, or whatnot, depending on the situation that you dealing with at the moment. Let me get there real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and you start at verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Right. So, like you said, it's a time and season for everything. You know, everything you do, it's a time for that. It might be time out for it, but you got to have that discernment. Read.
A time to be born,
Right.
a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal.
You see that? It's be times when you have to kill, but then also it's times when you have to heal. Read.
A time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rent, and a time to sow, a time to keep silent, and a time to speak.
Right. So sometimes you get in situations where it might be best for you not to say anything, but then another situation you gotta say something. Read.
A time to love,
All right.
and a time to hate.
It's a time to love, and this is what one thing that Christians have. They think that everything is about love in these scriptures. Read. But it says a time to love and what?
And a time to hate.
Right, and it's time to hate. Read.
A time to war.
It's time to go to war. Read.
And a time of peace.
Then it's time to chill out. They come in they due seasons. Now, with these characteristics, when you weigh them in balance, you know, you will become balanced. And that's what we learn from the Most High. Go to give me Genesis chapter 1. Let me show you something. The Most High has all these attributes, and you should too. But we hadn't tapped into that yet. We hadn't tapped into learning how to apply or distinguish between those attributes. Read. Give me 1 and 26.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image,
Right.
after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Yeah, 29.
So,
Wait, hold on. No, start at verse. I meant to start at 27. Read 27.
Yes, sir. Verse 27. So God created man in his own image.
He did what?
Created man in his own image.
Right. You read?
In the image of God created he him.
Right.
Male and female created he them.
The point of me bringing this out is because of the attributes that he have. We've been created in his image and with those like attributes, male and female. So the question is, we get it like in dealing with the church, they be like, well, God is all love. Well, how could that be? We just read in scriptures in Ecclesiastes, right, that it's a time and season for everything. The Most High put that there for us. And he also created us in his image, which means we have those same attributes to be able to discern and distinguish how to use them and how to apply them. So go to Psalms 7 and 11 real quick. Because like I said, they say that God is all love. God is all love. So this is what we've been taught in the churches, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see. You there?
Yes, sir. The book of Psalms, chapter 7 and verse 11. God judgeth the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day.
He says he's what?
Is angry.
So even the Most High God gets angry. But he has a time for that. When he gets angry, when does he get angry? Read that last part again.
And God is angry with the wicked every day.
When you doing wicked, the wicked doing wicked stuff every day, that makes him angry. So he ain't always love all the time. Go to Nahum 1 and 3. Nahum chapter 1 and what I got, verse 3.
Yes, sir. The book of Nahum, chapter 1 and verse 3. The Lord is slow to anger.
But you see that? Yeah, he gets angry, but guess what? He know how to turn it down, and he know when to use and when to apply. He says he's slow to anger. Go ahead.
And great in power.
Of course he's great in power because he can finish you with a snap of his finger. But he's being that he's slow to anger, that's his mercy. That's how he showed mercy. Right? Read.
And will not at all acquit the wicked.
You hear that? But he won't acquit the wicked, meaning it's only a short amount of time that the wicked have before he says, okay, that's it. I'm taking you out. But until then, he's slow to anger, and he'll let you mess up, and he'll let you learn your lesson, and hope that you repent from the chastisement. But if you don't repent, then guess what? He's going to take you out. So therefore, he's showing a balance, right? He's showing self-control because the wicked, like he said, he's angry at the wicked. He's been angry at us. How we were sent over here to serve out of captivity on through slave ships, brought him on slave ship to serve this captivity. You know, he could have destroyed all of us, but hey, he left us here, a remnant of us here to come back and repent, to come back to his statute, laws, and commandments. All right, from there, let's look at can you bring that definition back up, or that second link? We had that second link real quick. I just want to take a look at it real quick. The temperance. Yeah, all right. Okay, read that for me, officer.
Yes, sir. Temperance, moderation in action, thought or feelings, restraint.
Okay, so you got restraint. There was something else I was looking for. You know what? I got another one. Hey, real quick on the fly, can y'all get me one that's with the AI? I'm looking for one that had the self-control, because that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're gonna first start to deal with, is the self-control when it comes to temperance. Because we just read a few minutes ago how the Most High, he's angry sometimes. He's angry all the time at the wicked, but he's slow to anger, dealing with the wicked. You understand? So that's showing some type of form of control. That's something we can learn from. Remember, the Most High created us in his image. We supposed to be able to do the same thing, right? Yeah. Self-restraint, right? So look at that. The similarities of the synonyms, right? So the synonyms or similarities.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You want to read the definition? Go straight to it.
Yeah, read the definition and go ahead.
Yes, sir. Y'all go back over the definition. Self-restraint. Restraint imposed by oneself on one's own action. Self-control. Synonyms: self-control, restraint, control, self-discipline, self-mastery, self-possession, willpower, strength of will, moderation, temperance.
Yeah, you see temperance on there? Read. You can skip that one. You can skip that one.
Abstinence. Abstinence, whatever. Non-indulgence. Cool. Countenance.
All right, it's abstention.
Abstinence.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll pray.
So even the first ones are like self-control, restraint, controlling yourself, right? Self-discipline. All tied up with temperance. They line up with temperance, and you have to apply those things. But you have to learn how to apply. Let's go to wisdom of Solomon. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how, like, self-control. They're dealing with self-control. Let's see how can we achieve that self-control. That's wisdom of Solomon. I think I want 6 and verse 7. I think that's what I want. Wait a minute, hold on.
Yes, sir.
Let me make sure. I gotta get in the right book. 6 and 17. My bad.
Yes, sir. The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 17. For the very true beginning of her, in the desire of discipline.
Right. So this is actually going into the wisdom. It says for what?
For the very true beginning of her.
Matter of fact, jump up to verse 15 real quick so we can get the what he's talking about.
Verse 15. To think that upon her is perfection of wisdom.
Right. So we dealing with wisdom. Now jump back down to 17 real quick.
Verse 17. For the very true beginning of her, in the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love.
Is love. Love is what? Give me the precept of love real quick. Let's see what love is according to the scriptures. So this is how you obtain that discipline, being able to be what? Restrain yourself. Have the self-control you need. You know what I'm saying? So that you would be able to have that discretion when you see certain situations going on, and you'll know how to apply those attributes that we read in Ecclesiastes.
The book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
Right. So the love of God is what? Is the keeping of the commandments. So hop back over real quick, the wisdom of Solomon 6 and 17, so that we can get that full understanding.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 17. For the very true beginning of her, in the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love.
Right. So keeping the commandments is what's gonna get you that discipline. Why? Because as far as with your brothers, your family, or whatever, what the second greatest commandment is what? Love our neighbors, I love ourselves. That's what Christ told us. And he said under that hangs every other law. So you're gonna apply those scriptures. You're gonna apply that to your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna apply the discipline. Go hop over to Sirach 32 and 14. It's just a couple of scriptures to show on discipline. There wasn't more. Oh yeah. You wanna? Well, we keep going.
I'm there.
What I say on 32 and verse 14.
Yes, sir. The book of Ecclesiastes, or Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 14. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline.
He receive what?
His discipline.
So you fearing the Most High God, meaning keeping his commandments, keeping the statute, laws, and commandments. With that, you will receive discipline, right? Keep reading.
And they that seek him early shall find favor.
Right. So you're going to find that favor. You're going to get what you're looking for as far as like he allowing you to receive that discipline. But you got to fear the Most High God and keep the commandments, right? So give me that first video, because now we're talking about the self-control, self-restraint, right? Show that first video real quick. I came across this not too long ago, and it caught my attention, and it's a true statement, man. It's what this person said on this video right here.
Self-control is a strength. Calmness is mastery. You have to get to a point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of someone else. Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. And don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence.
You hear that? So play that one more time, man. One more time. My bad. One more time. And so when he was saying something about striving for mastery, that's what I wanted to hone in on. Like, and also about the emotions, not letting people control your emotions. All right. This is and this goes into the discipline to keep you from someone swaying you to do something that you know what I'm saying, that have you out of character. Read.
Self-control is a strength. Calmness is mastery. You have to get to a point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of someone else. Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. And don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence.
Right. So with that, give me First Corinthians. Let me go to 1 Corinthians 9. Because those are the masteries we should be striving for. That's where our strength is. That's where we will have that power to be able to stay focused, you know what I'm saying, on certain tasks and not let someone get you all out of character when something don't go right. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I say 1 Corinthians.
You say you want to start at 24?
Yeah, 9 and 24.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9 and verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize?
Mm-hmm.
So run that ye may obtain.
Right.
And every man that striveth for the mastery.
It said what?
And every man that striveth for the mastery.
Yep, when you're striving for those mastery, what?
Is temperate in all things.
And what?
Is temperate in all things.
So for you to achieve, you have to achieve self-control, right? And you have to be disciplined, and that's what's gonna keep you focused. And they're gonna keep you focused because when someone's running, when you got these guys running, even with their training, you know what I'm saying, for a race, they do certain things that help them win that race. Like for instance, they eat certain foods, they working out continuously, they getting their cardio up, make sure their lungs, they doing everything they can. You know what I'm saying? That comes with discipline within itself, conditioning your body for a race, or like if you boxing. I'll just jump in using another analogy. If you boxing, certain boxers do certain things. They train, they eat certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't. They try to refrain from sex, so that when they get into that match, then they be able to perform at their best and at their fullest. You know what I'm saying? And that takes self-control within itself. All right. Hop over to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus.
Wait. I mean, hold on. 1 Timothy 2. Wait a minute, hold on. 2 Timothy, my bad. I told you 1 Timothy, my bad.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5. And if a man also strive for masteries.
Is if he what?
If a man also strive for masteries,
mm-hmm.
yet is he not crowned,
mm-hmm.
except he strive lawfully.
I mean, he's keeping the laws, but he's going to strive for those masteries, and that's going to bring forth the discipline that he need, right? So, with that, like that video was saying earlier, that we were bringing out, we got the strength, also the calmness. The calmness is the mastery. You being able to stay calm in all types of situations that you're dealing with, because as leaders, if you're a leader, you have to deal with a multitude of people. You can't have people seeing you all spazzed out over a situation. You got to keep your calm. What they say, cool, calm, and collected. You got to stay cool, calm, and collected. All right. Matter of fact, and they said, as far as the emotions, right? They said what? Do not or don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence, right? So you don't want no one to, like, say you hop out of character, right? So give me that Proverbs 14 and 29. Proverbs 14 and 29.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 29. He that is slow to wrath.
Is it what?
He that is slow to wrath
Okay.
is of great understanding.
I mean, he understands that jumping the gun can cause other problems and make the situation even worse. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with each other, like in the streets. We dealing with each other in the streets. If you always jumping, always quick to be angry, it's showing that you don't have no understanding, right? Because, you know what I'm saying, you can bring on more problems than what could actually come out of what's going on at that moment. Read.
But he that is hasty of spirit
It's what he is hasty, meaning quick. He's real quick, snappy, or what?
exalted folly.
Man, he's pretty much a fool. You know what I'm saying? He's exalted folly. How about the James 1 and 19? Now we're gonna go to the New Testament. James chapter 1 verse 19. That's what I want.
James 1 verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear.
It be swift to what?
Swift to hear.
And what?
Slow to speak. Slow to wrath.
Right. So right. Keep reading.
For the wrath of a man worketh not the righteousness of God.
So it says you not in righteousness. You're not keeping the commandments if you always jumpy, snappy, trying to jump at the first instance that you disagree with something, right? It says, jump at verse 19.
Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Right.
For the wrath of a man worketh not the righteousness of God.
Right. So we all, from this scripture, just letting you know that you're supposed to be swift to hear the whole matter. Just sit back and listen before you make a decision. Don't snap off and do something that you can regret later on or cause you to get hurt because you so out of it or so inflamed and raged that you're not even thinking. You probably not even watching your surroundings. You can be in a situation where you get into it with somebody and you so enraged that you're not paying attention that he might have 2 or 3, 4 other guys around him that's actually protecting them, and now you done popped off on him and not even aware that he got some guys around him that can take you out. It says, for that wrath of a man worketh what? Not righteousness, right? So that's going into the self-control. We gotta always have self-control. Like I said, having the mastery over one's own desire and passion, not being driven by them, right? So that's another aspect. So I want to go into moderation, we still dealing with temperance, but now we going back over and dealing with the moderation involving what? Finding a balance in all things, right? We trying to find a balance in all things with the moderation, right? So let's get that next video. Let me get that next video. Or that obese video. So we dealing with another thing that our people we deal with a lot, and that's obesity, And this video gonna show some light on what we dealing with in this country right now, and mainly this country. I can't say around the world, but mainly here. Not saying they don't have this problem, but here dealing here in the U.S., we have this problem with obesity. Let me get it.
Meet Juan Pedro from Mexico, who loves playing guitar but has struggled with his weight for years. For over 10 years, he's been confined to his bed, unable to leave his house. Imagine feeling trapped in your own body, unable to do anything, and feeling powerless every day. His obesity has led to serious health issues like high blood pressure and diabetes, putting immense pressure on his heart and other organs. Despite his strict diet control, Juan has been overweight since childhood due to physical reasons. At 17, a car accident left him bedridden for a long time, which caused his weight to spiral out of control. He also suffers from a thyroid disease, making the weight gain even worse. In late 2016, a hospital in Guadalajara, Mexico, stepped in to help. After a series of treatments, Juan lost an incredible 330 kilograms from his original weight of 590 kilograms. His high blood pressure and other health problems have improved dramatically as a result. Can you imagine the strength it takes to overcome such a massive weight loss journey? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever faced a challenge like this? Would you push through and keep going?
No. Looking at this is a hell of a challenge, you know, and all this comes from not being moderate. We lacking temperance, you know. Give me Sirach chapter 37 real quick. So so the moderation, like I said, it involves finding a balance in all things, avoiding excess of indulgence. You know, we got to have some type of self-control on what we put in our body. If I'm mistaken, you said it was from Mexico. So this was Northern Kingdom, Issachar. This is from the one of the tribes. And as you can see, it looked like he can't control himself. He was always munching on something. He's on his back. Most people don't even eat. When they eat, they sitting up. This brother right here laying on his back, eating. Well, we was eating like an orange or some papaya or something. Pineapple or something. He just laying on his back. He's so big he can't even sit up, you know. Get that Sirach, Ecclesiastes 31 real quick. Matter of fact, let me see, second to get it. Hold on, 31. Started 30. No, Sirach 37 and 29. Yeah, 37. What I say, man?
No, that's what you said, sir.
Yeah, 37 and 29. 37 and 29.
The book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 29. Be not unsatiable.
It said be what?
Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy
It's too
upon
what?
meats.
Is that too what?
Too greedy upon meats.
That's what the Most High is saying. We're not supposed to be greedy. You know what I'm saying? Be not insatiable in any dainty thing, right? Right, because verse 30 is going to tell you why.
Verse 30. For excess of meats bringeth sickness.
So you see that he had all those illnesses. He got high blood pressure. Our people have high blood pressure. They have what you call blood. What they call it? Sugar. High blood pressure. It's sugar. You got certain cancers that's having the toxins, because that fat in your body, it holds toxins, but it's supposed to be reserve energy, but that stuff holds toxins. It causes cancers building up. Read what you got. Read it again.
For excess of meats bringeth sickness.
It brings sickness, and what?
And surfeiting will turn into cola.
Right, it turned into a cola. It's starting to anger. It'll anger you because you so sick. The sickness up make you angry. It'll anger you. You will be in so much pain that you ain't gonna feel comfortable. Right? You see, he couldn't even. He would say how he was wobbling around. He had to get helped up out the bed. That's too much, because he didn't have temperance, no self control. He didn't know when to stop eating.
Somebody had to clean.
Just picture somebody got to clean. He can't even clean himself. But it's a lot of our people out here that's dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? We just read that. Keep reading. We just watched it, I mean.
Verse 31. By surfeiting have many perished.
It said by surfeiting many have perished. Hey, on the fly, hey, can y'all give me a definition? I just want the people to see what surfeiting mean. Just real quick. If it's possible, put surfeiting in. Because it said, by surfeiting, many have perished. We got a high rate of death. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the statistics about people, like I said, dying from all type of illnesses, and obesity is one of them, right? Yes, sir. Read that.
Surfeit, an excess amount of something. A surfeit of food and drink. Verb.
Where you at?
Verb.
Yeah, read the verb.
Verb. cause someone to desire no more of something as a result of having consumed or done it to excess.
Right, meaning they overdid it. You know what I'm saying? Read the synonyms or similarities. The similars right up under. It's right there.
Satiate.
Yep.
Satiate. Gorge.
This dude gorged. You could tell the way he looked. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the proper word for what he's done. He is gorged. He's been gorging for probably over 10, 20 years to get that big. Read.
Overfeed.
That's going into gorge.
Overfill.
Yep.
Glut.
Which is a sin, right?
Cram. Stuff. Overindulge.
Right, just overindulge. Hop over to Sirach 31 and start with 17.
Yes, sir.
These are the things that simple things we can apply. The fruits of the spirit will help us even with our health. Just that's going into self-control, being moderate. You know, 31 and 22. No, hold on. 31:17. Let me 31:17. Huh? Yeah, do 16.
Yes, sir.
Because the officer in the spirit, he want to do 16. So I'm gonna let him do 16. Let's go.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 31 and verse 16.
Let's read.
Eat as it becometh a man those things which are set before thee.
Right. So there's nothing wrong with eating. You just eat what's set before you, but what?
And devour not, lest thou be hated.
All right, so because you can get hated by, you know what I'm saying, you get hated by eating, you know what I'm saying, everything that's set before you. I mean, if I invite you to my house and I invite you to, you know, to a couple of dishes or something like that, I don't expect you to eat all the dishes. Man, I got other people coming by. I guess, you know, we got other company. I want to break bread with everybody else. I don't want you sitting over there eating up everything. You're gonna be hated. Keep reading.
Leave off first for manner's sake, and be not unsatiable.
That's that word again. Be not insatiable. What?
Lest thou offend.
And you going to offend. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be pissed off. I know someone else will be pissed off if you come and eating up all their food, especially if you ain't bring nothing to the table. You know what I'm saying? Because if you'd have brought something to the table, you probably wouldn't have been that hungry. But since you came along, you came with empty-handed, you over there just indulging, gorging, like, you know what I'm saying, getting overweight, overeating. Read.
When thou sittest among many, reach not thy hand out first of all.
Man, don't be the first one to reach your hand out when you get invited, you know, sitting among many. You know, give it a little time, you know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
A very little is sufficient.
Is what?
A very little is sufficient.
All you need is a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, if you eat something, eat a small amount and drink you some water. And wait 15 minutes, because then that signal, your stomach gonna send a signal up back to your brain that you okay. But what happens is when you eat, the signal gets sent up slow. So you know you telling yourself, come on, I'm finna keep on eating. I'm finna put more into me before the signal even reach your brain. Now you overeating. Now you full. Now you insatiable. You know what I'm saying? With those dainty things. Read that again.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
Right, it says very little is sufficient for a man well nourished. Right, you can get your nourishment just by little. Like they say, we supposed to eat to live, not live to eat. The video we just showed, he on this earth just to eat. That's just, you know what I'm saying. And a lot of our brothers and sisters today, they live. That's like they wake up in the morning. Hey, I gotta have breakfast. I gotta have brunch, then I gotta have lunch, and then a snack, then dinner, then a midnight snack. They don't stop. Keep reading. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading. Read that again. Read that from the top. You know what I'm saying?
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
Right.
And he fetches not his wind short upon his bed.
Right. He's fetching his wind. Keep reading. Y'all out of breath, because you know when your stomach get full, now pressing up against your lungs, and you short winded. Keep reading.
Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating.
When you eat just a little, just sufficient, sufficient for you, you can sleep in peace, right? But keep reading.
He riseth early and his wits are with him.
And your mind is you all right. You are one with yourself, and your wits are with you. Your mind is with you, right? Keep reading.
But
But
the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the bellies are with an unsatiable man.
read that again.
But the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the bellies are with an unsatiable man.
Yeah, he gonna have all type of issues. You know, you gonna have. I didn't get that other article, but the other article they had where, you had colon cancer, you had all type of bloatness, stomach issues from overeating. You are gonna have those pangs in the belly, right? But keep reading. You're 21.
And if thou hast been forced to eat,
Man, if you've been forced to eat, what?
arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest.
Right, because like I said earlier, you end up eating too much, and you're gonna have pains upon your belly while you're trying to rest. Because in that first part it says that what a man that's well nourished is well. A man that eats a little, he's well nourished, right? And they say he have sound sleep. But if you overeat, yeah, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have problems. So it's telling you that if you just so happen accidentally, you just got past yourself, and you feel like you got that far, then you might need to go to the restroom and relieve yourself of that, so that you won't be in pain later on. That's what the scripture is telling you. Is that it on that? Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, read the 22.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My son, hear me, and despise me not. And at thy last thou shalt find as I told thee, and all thy works be quick, so shall there no sickness come unto thee.
Right. So the reason why we reading the scriptures, because we see a lot of our people, they have all these illness. They in and out the doctor. So we want you to heed. That's why I said right here. He said, "My son, hear these words, hear these instructions." We want you to be able to go to bed, rest at night, wake up with your wit, with your mind. Without any illness, pains, and stuff like that. Now, that's just going into the 24. Oh, you know what? Give me 24.
Verse 24. But against him that is a niggard.
Hey, a niggard is a stingy person, and he's a niggard with what?
Of his meat.
With meats, read.
The whole city shall murmur.
Man, you're going to get talked about. And I'm talking about everybody and their mama going to talk about you. Read.
And a testimony of his niggardness.
Of this what?
Of his niggardness shall not be doubted of.
Yeah, because you walking around being a stingy and niggard with meats. And talking about, some of them walk around talking about they don't want to be out niggard. I seen a video one day. It's an inside joke. The dude said, man, he said, I can't believe this nigga out nigger me. You have people out here that they make this a sport. They being niggards, being stingy. But go ahead. Let me go to the next point. My next point of moderation, and this is another thing that our people fail with. Is with drinking. With drinking, can we get that other video? Can we get the other video? Now watch this, y'all. We got this little guy, this small man. Watch this, y'all. Look at this. Y'all ain't got the audio. Look at that, man. That's all you really need to see.
Any nigga that wanna die, that wanna.
Bro, you about slippery as hell. My bad, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna try to pick that up.
Right.
I'm not gonna get that.
Come on, man. Get your little body ass up, son. Baby body built the ass on, man. Right. Come on. Now we gotta pick this shit up and lose.
Hey, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna clean it up. Hey, bro. I'm letting y'all in. I'm not. Let me know.
He talking about he gonna clean up. All he did was clean out that bottle he was drinking. That's all he did was clean out that bottle. It was empty and he fell flat on his face. All right. So now I don't want some Christians might be look, you can drink. Here's the thing. It's like I said, we're going into the temperance, which goes into moderation. You gotta have some type of moderation. You gotta have some type of stopping point. All right. First and foremost, give me Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. Let's see what the scriptures say, because they say it's a drinking, it's a sin. But I don't understand how you can eat swine. You can eat swine and come back and say drinking is a sin. I don't get it. But
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 19. A feast is made for laughter.
it said a what?
A feast is made for laughter.
Uh-huh.
And wine make it merry.
It said what?
And wine make it merry.
So you can drink wine. It makes you merry. Who don't want to have a little glass of wine? You just gotta have that self control, restraint. You gotta know when to stop. You gotta know your spirit. Hop over to 1 Timothy 5:23. I wanted to bring this out. I should have brought this out first. Well, I want to bring that out once again to show that you can drink. The scriptures say that you can drink. I don't know where the Christian church get this from. You can't drink, but all right, we're gonna show with the scriptures that it's okay to drink.
1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 23. Drink no longer water.
It said drink no longer what?
Drink no longer water.
Sometimes you got to put the water bottle down, read, and Paul's going to tell you why.
But use a little wine for thy stomach's sake.
It says that use what?
But use a little wine for thy stomach's sake.
Right. So sometimes you can get sick. Don't you know that can actually heal you? You get sick and that'll knock off some of the illness. I know down here in the South, let's just say even with the a cold or something, your grandma used to make that little hottie toddy. Y'all know what the hottie toddy is. You gotta. I don't know if they were doing it anywhere else, but I know down here in the South they mix up that hottie toddy and it'd be like a little orange juice with some of that whiskey, and I think they'll throw some honey in there. And sure, I've seen it knocked out plenty of colds during my lifetime. Right. So, all right. So jump from there. Now we're gonna jump to Sirach 31. Let's go to Sirach 31. Sirach 31. Sirach 31 and 27 is where we're going to start.
Yes, sir. The book of Ecclesiastes, or Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 27. Wine is as good as life to a man.
So it says wine is good. It is good. It makes you merry. It's a feast, right?
If it be drunk moderately.
But it got to be drunk moderately, right? That goes into the moderation, which goes into the temperance. All this ties back to temperance of the fruits of and within the fruits of the spirit, right? Keep reading.
What life is then to a man that is without wine?
What is life going to be like without wine? You go to work we in captivity. You go to work every day. Sometimes you need a little something to knock the edge off. But do you just drink the whole bottle? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Even with strong drinks, you want to get you a little, just enough. Even with me, I'll cut it. Hey, I'll make it stretch. Why you want to drink all of it up at one time and be falling over on your face like this brother did in the video? And that stuff getting expensive too. I like to drink the high dollar ones now. Since I started drinking, I ain't used to drink when I was younger, but when I started drinking, I came into the truth. So I'm trying to make it stretch. So I'm gonna cut it with some fruit juice, some real fruit juice. You know what I'm saying? Make it straight, become merry with it. And then, I got enough for later on some other time, right? Keep reading.
For it was made to make men glad.
Because it's made to make you glad in this captivity. We in captivity, y'all. We still serving out our captivity, right? Keep reading.
Wine, measurably drunk.
Wine, measurably drunk, meaning you got to know your limit, your limitations, right?
And in season.
And in season what?
Bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind.
Now, tell you the truth. When y'all seen this video with the dude falling on his face, does he look like he was cheerful, glad? No, he messed up out here out of his mind. Keep reading.
But Wine, drunk with excess, maketh bitterness of the mind.
Right. Go ahead.
With brawling.
It causes fights. Because now you talking out the side of your mouth, you know, it brings out a lot of stuff in you. We're going to read that. Read.
And quarreling.
Right.
Drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend.
Right, till he offend, and now he going to do something to you, right?
It diminishes strength and maketh wounds.
Right, and I'm going to have to go to a story real quick, story time. I remember growing up, we was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And I did what I did in the streets, but I was always sober. So some of the guys, they decided they want to go to a club. And what happened was something happened where one of my partners ended up going by herself. They ended up detouring and going somewhere. So one of my partners went somewhere else. And so we waiting for him to get back the next day because we had some business to handle. And he didn't show up. So we was looking for him, calling him. He's nowhere to be found. I say about 2 days, 3 days later, right? He comes up. We seen him walking down the street. We was on the block. He was walking down the street. He come back looking like Martin Lawrence when he got knocked out by Tommy Hearn. You know what I'm saying? When he knocked him up in the wall. So I mean, he was messed up. I'm talking about he was messed up. Now where we had to go, we ended up taking him to the hospital. But we ended up asking him what happened to him. And so what he told us was he was at the club because now he's at the club by himself because some of the other guys, they detoured. You know, I always stay back. I ain't never go to the club like they did. But he was by himself, and he got drunk. That's what happened. Like this last part where it said it make it for wounds. And so he was in there talking, you know what I'm saying, and he was by himself. He wasn't, you know, he was with none of us, and he was pretty much out of bounds, you know what I'm saying? And them guys got a hold to him for his mouth because now he's speaking in rage, saying things he shouldn't be saying. And what they did was they beat him in a club. They drug him out the club. They locked him. They threw him in the trunk from that point, took him in the outskirts of the city, beat him some more, threw him in the ditch, literally. When he came to, he told us he remembered that part that he was in a ditch. And he had to walk because they took his money, his phone, and everything. So he had to walk back. That's why when we seen him walk, he literally walked back all the way to the hood from where they dropped him off at. Why? Because at the end of this verse it says what? It
diminished strength.
Right.
And make it wounds.
It make it wounds. He had a lot of wounds on him. Keep reading.
Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine.
Now, this is on the flip side. This is to the sober. This is the reason why when we at a camp or we teaching, we don't deal with anyone who's been drinking. If they drunk, we don't want to deal with you. We tell you to move on. You know what I'm saying? Sober up before we even talk to you. Because read. This is
and
right.
Despise him not in his mirth.
Right.
Give him no despiteful words.
Right. Don't give him no despiteful words. That's why we tell them, hey, just move on. We just come back later when you sober up. Right?
And press not upon him that with urging him to drink.
Right, and don't be pressing him to drink even more, right? So with that, from there, come to Proverbs 23 is what I want. This is another, so we talked about the wounds that will happen because you're not temperate and didn't know when to stop drinking. Now we're going to talk about your lifestyle, how it can affect your lifestyle by over drinking, by not having what? Self-control, moderation, knowing when to stop drinking. Drink a little and let it be sufficient. But no, some people want to over drink. You know, what I say, Proverbs 23.
Yes, right.
Let me get it real quick. 23, Proverbs 20 and 21. Let me get it.
Yes, sir.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 20. Be not amongst wine bibbers, amongst riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton.
Well, it says for the drunken and the glutton, right?
Shall come to poverty.
You will be poor. You know what I'm saying? You end up without nothing. You see a lot of people. That's why you see a lot of people on the street corners have nothing to their name, but they asking for $1 here and there, so what? They can go back and buy them another drink. Read.
And drowsiness shall clothe a man with rage.
Right. So
Oh, with rags, excuse me.
with rags. Yes, sir. Yes. It said with drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. So, like I said, drunkenness, glutton, overeating, over drinking, brings you to poverty. You know, I know a lot of people that's what they into. That's what they because they trying to run from their problem. That's what most of those people are running from their problem instead of enduring and fighting through it. They end up over drinking, and the others end up on drugs. So that's what you see in our communities. But that right there brings you to poverty, right? So with that, let's wrap it up, man. So with that, man, I want to go ahead and go to the conclusion, because right now we gotta kind of develop or give you some type of practical strategies or some type of something to cultivate the temperance, something that can build your temperance up, right? And really, basically, first thing is it takes discernment, right? I'm gonna go back to go to Proverbs real quick. I want to read this right, 2:10 real quick. You got to have some type of discretion, when to and when not to, right?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 2 and verse 10. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee.
It said what?
Discretion shall preserve thee.
Okay.
Understanding shall keep thee.
Right. So it said understanding shall keep thee. And so moving forward, I want to go to let me see. You ready? My bike going out. Okay, here we go. Let me go over to James chapter 1. Just a few things that if you dealing with glutton, not being able to harness the moderation, you know what I'm saying, restraining yourself. This is what you want to do. Go to James chapter 1. Let's kind of give you some solutions. So here's solutions here and there to wrap this up. That's James 1 verse 5.
James chapter 1 and verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom.
So look, it says if any of you lack wisdom or understanding, read.
Let him ask of God.
So if you lack the wisdom, understanding, and it's like right now we're talking about temperance, one of the fruits of the spirit. So if you lack some things, you gotta ask what?
Let him ask of God.
The what?
That giveth to all men liberally.
If you ask the Most High, He gonna give it to you liberally, right?
And upbraid it not, and it shall be given him.
Right, and you gonna get that, but read.
But let him ask in faith.
But you can't waver. You gotta ask in faith with no doubt. Read.
Nothing wavering.
Right.
For he that wavereth is like a wave of the ship.
Right.
Excuse me. The wave of the sea, driving with the wind and tossed.
Right. Read 7.
You read?
Yeah, verse 7.
Verse 7. For let not the man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord.
So you ain't gonna receive nothing of the Lord if you go doubting, you go wavering. When you need those things, you gotta go to the Most High. Ask, hey, I got a problem with drinking. Lord, help me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pray on those things. Go to Matthew 6 and 33. I just want to go read the Matthew 6 and 33 real quick.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God.
So you have to be seeking first the kingdom of God, right? That's what it's saying. Keep reading.
In his righteousness.
Right.
And all these things shall be added unto you.
So if you lack in restraint, you lack in moderation, then you seek, by you seeking the kingdom, the Most High gonna give you. He gonna give you those things. As long as you sit there and pray and don't waver, He's going to give it to you. Go to Psalms 37 and 25. Psalms chapter 37 and 25.
Psalms chapter 37 and verse 25. I have been young and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
You see that? So the Most High ain't going to forsake you. You know, you ask, you should receive. Like he said, you can't waver. If you lack in temperance, right now that's what we dealing with. And that goes for anything. If you like it, because it said understanding, but we talking about the temperance right now. One of the fruits of the Spirit. So if you lack in those things, the Most High say the righteous has never been forsaken. You ask for the things, and he's going to give them to you. But you got to seek first what? The kingdom of God. Go from there and go to Luke 21 and 19. Luke 21 and 19.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls.
Right. So while you asking the Most High for those things, you still have to be patient. You understand? While he's working with you, he's gonna send you the help you need. Right? Go hop over to Sirach, back to Sirach 2 and 6 real quick. We're about to wrap it up. Got one more verse.
Sirach chapter 2 and verse 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee.
He said, what?
Believe in him.
So you, like I said, you can't waver, but you gotta trust in the Most High. That's one thing that our people don't do. You got certain situations that you can't really deal with. You don't know how to deal with. Trust in the Most High. And he said, what?
And he will help thee.
Right, he's gonna help you out. Now, last verse. Go to Tobit, chapter 4. Chapter 4, verse 5.
Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 5.
I'm gonna read 5 and 6.
My son, be mindful of the Lord, our God, all thy days.
So he said, my son, be mindful of the Lord, meaning keep the Most High in your mind. Meditate on his scriptures, like it said, what, in Nehemiah 8 and 8. It said, meditate on those scriptures, meditate on his word, right?
And let not thy will be set to sin.
And don't let your will be set to sin. You know what I'm saying? Like overindulging in certain things, like the wine, food. You know what I'm saying? Show some type of restraint, right? You can read.
Or to transgress his commandments.
Or break his commandments, read.
Do uprightly all thy life long.
Right.
And follow not the ways of unrighteousness.
Right. So you see the unrighteous, like doing things like falling out in the stores, drunk from excess, right? We don't do what they do. All right, we do the opposite, because they doing, but they applying what? The fruits of flesh. But we supposed to be applying the fruits of the Spirit. Read.
For if thou deal truly.
So we deal truly, right?
Thy doings shall prosperously.
It should do what?
Shall prosperously.
Prosperously what?
Succeed to thee. And to all them that live justly.
Right. So that's the same thing you read in Joshua 1 and 8. If you want to succeed in anything, like saying we dealing with temperance. So if you want to succeed in that thing, learning how to get self-discipline, how to be self-disciplined, how to restrain yourself, eat in moderation, do anything in moderation, even dealing with your brothers, everything in moderation, right? You have to keep God's commandments, and you will be successful in that thing. And with that, that'll be concluding my class for the day. Like I said, I'm an officer. You want it, then again, I got my reader over here.
Officer Yashar REA, man.
All right, and this concludes the class, and we'll say shalom.
7 spirits in the living north. We in the written Torah. You see how we did Gomorrah. Well, we did the core. Babylon, fit for slaughter. Wickedness in all its borders. Hummus, Lord, sayonara. Goodbye. Ancient of days, we cover the face. Minister to saints, never be breaking the ranks. Get the order to destroy, then we tell them thanks. In the day, they shooting tanks like they shooting blanks. holding back the full wind. We are black on our skin. We attack or defend. We are at war again. We will snap for our kin. All of God's command. Don't look at his other hand.
We the angels, fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We making same moves, cause we the angels. Fire with no wind. When we speak, we bring the flames through. Prophesy destruction, ain't no bluffing, ain't no fables. The zeal of the Lord, I'm like Christ flipping tables. We making same moves, cause we the angels.